It was pushing and slapping and things that wouldn't necessarily leave a mark, but things that would put me in danger. For instance, he tried to push me into a road when an oncoming car was coming towards me. At first, the relationship was typically romantic. He was loving and kind. I had no reason to suspect that the relationship was going to sour. Usually start off as mentally abusive or psychologically abusive, and then that gives the perpetrator the confidence to then become physically abusive. I think people have they can be quite judgmental about why women stay in relationships, and I think that from someone who's been in that situation, I think it's really important women know that if they are in that situation, you don't have to make any rash decisions, and actually I would encourage them to have a proper plan in place, because if you abruptly leave, you're actually putting yourself in more danger. I came into contact with a lady called Zoe Drainfield, who is an active campaigner against domestic violence. She encouraged me to speak out. And if more women were to come forward and say, this is what's happened to me, this was abusive, this was a crime, I think that that could build to such momentum that it cannot be ignored. And it's not just women that should be speaking out, we need more men that are saying, actually, this behaviour is wrong.
A key part of my story is how I've been treated by the legal system. Since I broke up with my ex-partner 2 years ago, he has harassed me relentlessly. No real sympathy from the police or the courts. I've had police say to me they haven't got the time to deal with it, or they've said that he's got the right to contact who he wants, he can say what he wants. So they've actually sent him the message that it is acceptable to try and systematically and maliciously target somebody in this way. And because it wasn't worst case scenario for them, they said they didn't have the time or the resources. There isn't enough training within the police or within the courts. There isn't necessarily enough time or resources spent on domestic abuse, but it has to be, the gap needs to be closed between the system and survivors. I think the best thing about talking to David was that I realised that nothing that's happened is my fault. When you're in that relationship, you see things through fog, you don't see things clearly, you doubt yourself, you constantly are paranoid about what's real and what's not. And actually when you emerge out of that and you speak to somebody like David, you are very able to categorise that behaviour as what I'm wanting to motivate more to happen, is that those strong women do come back again, that someone will come along, they will try and break you down, they will try and make you feel that you are worthless and that you don't have any control over your life, but when you get out of that relationship you will find that strong woman that you once were again, and David has been a key part of me finding that strong woman that I was. I'm due to work with a young person's media agency called Exposure and Channel 4 on a short film about domestic violence. We want to get a film out there which primarily helps young people and abusive relationships, because I don't think there is enough out there to promote healthy relationships for young people. This is all important for me because I just want women to know that if you're in a relationship that you think is abusive, or you've left a relationship and you feel like everything is falling apart, I want you to know that you will be okay.